Dear students, in this video I will provide example how to create a relational database by using Microsoft Access database management system. For sure, before you will start, you must process practical classes material as well as lecture notes about medical information system in general and presentation which is related to database relational database design. So I will every time use practical classes material, following practical classes material. First pages represent theoretical information about the relational database development, key notes only, not all, because it's very large, long topic. And actually practical example starts below. So here is we have theoretical introduction in relational database design. Learning example given on page 13, and I will try to implement it. Actually, everything since page 13 provide example how to implement this database, but in two ways, by using Microsoft Access, as well as second example by using open source OpenB based solution. So I will follow only part from page 14 up to 23 about how use Microsoft Access and will try to present it. So I will keep this design on screen which represent list of objects per database and relationship between it. Also I expect that you are completed theoretical introduction and you understand question like database fields, data types, type of key fields, purpose of key fields, and what is the relationship between database objects, type of relationship, and importance of relationships. So all these questions presented in these documents before or also extended in presentation and lecture materials. Please check that information first before you start with practice. Okay, practically you can create database with Microsoft Access. So we need to start Microsoft Access, in my case 2016 version. Immediately we will need to create desktop database. Attention, not template, not web, desktop. Immediately we will be asked about create database file on hard drive. Please keep in mind paths and file name. I'll put use Miss DB. In my case, it's another given in task, but it's no matter. Once you create, you will be entered into my database screen. So there for us, and immediately started first object database table 1. Actually, I will discard it, cancel it, and will start all my object manually. So first of all, ensure that all database object visibles, extend list at top left panel, extend list of objects, ensure that you have all these objects selected. Okay, move to create. First step is create storage, so create relational database tables with necessary list of fields according to design. According to given design, we have two tables. One for storing patient personal data and second for storing his examination results. We consider one kind of examination. So let's start. I will every time use table designer to switch to create table designer. And here is within this design, I must list all fields and assign them proper data type, also create index, key fields, and so on. So let's start follow given design. ID patient. My field name will be slightly different than given in task. Actually, it's no matter. format everything, because it's just kind of education. As you can see, by default, every time I signate a short text for each field. Now I must adjust data types according to design. So at page 13, given general data types and purpose of fields, like primary key for ID person to provide unique identification of in-person and other general data types. Definitely, when you choose proper database management tool, you must use existing here database type. So you must adjust general data type according to database management tool. So there, as you can see, it's all steps I have already passed. An explanation of parts of window of table designer given. Please read this carefully. And here is for us given proper data type which is available within Microsoft Access. So if we want to implement primary key, we have multiply way in Microsoft Access, but simplest it will use auto number. Important also to assign primary key. When you have selected that field which must act as primary key, press primary key button. As you can see, small icon being added. And actually what it do, it's only change index properties to no duplicates, because primary keys must be indexed fields, and also it must contain uniquely never repeated values. Okay, first last name for sure it must be text fields. What you can do, it's also, for example, adjust field length. For example, provide limitation for first name about, for example, 30 characters, and last name for about 50 if necessary. Address, it's mix of text and numbers, so we will left short text fields. Phone number, for sure, if you want to apply different prefix like plus and so on for mobile numbers, you must left short text. And birthday, it must be date time. As you can see, every time if you want change data type, the only way it's use drop down list which is available under data type column. So switch to date time, and you can apply also format. I recommend use like short date format to be free from national standards, national typing and so on. Okay, short date format. Also you complete list of object in fields, save it. And close. It's critical point. It's not Microsoft Word or Excel. You must close object every time. And keep only main database window being open. So as you can see, I have table. My database now contains single one table. When I right click this table, I have ability to back into design view, for example. Or another way, I can use design menu to switch between modes there. I can switch into datasheet view, like data representation. For sure, nothing there displayed because no data already in table. Or again, I can open it just by double click, and I will enter by default in datasheet view. If I want to get back into design, so I can use a toolbar or even a special tool at the right bottom corner. Now, several important notices. First of all, try to complete the table structure before you will enter data, before you will need to fill this some kind of data. Ensure that your structure is correct. Order of fields, it's not critical for relational database. But what is critical, it's correct data type and index properties, especially primary key settings. They are absolutely critical. Incorrect settings of key fields let your database will become useless absolutely and will become absolutely incorrect. So what is important if you want to change data type, to do it before you enter data. Other hand, probably sometimes possible to change data type without deleting data, but most time you will need to delete any data you have input. And final notice about primary key. It's very hard to change primary key, to move primary key from one field to another. So first of all, you need uncheck primary key. You need set any another data type. Save, close table, reopen again, and I will use for example for the same field, and apply again settings for another for sure field, and save change again. For sure, if you will need to change the position of our primary key, you will need to delete all data. Try to avoid such situation. Okay, move on. I complete first table, which will be responsible to keep patient data, and I must create second table, which will keep patient examination results. Back into design, please. And back into design. Pay into attention that must be created two key fields there, primary and foreign, because each examination results must be unique, no matter is it retrieved from different or the same patient, but we must know from whom this particular examination was retrieved. And in this case, we need foreign key to be joined to patient passport data primary key by using one-to-many relationship. Okay, let's implement examination table with Microsoft Access. Example how to do it given at also page 17 below main passport data. Again, under create, select table designer, and I will create again structure. Sorry, mistake. Id test. As you can see again, I have used not all fields and even used slightly another field names, no matter. Critical is data types and index properties and key fields definition. So, as previous time as given in design, ID test must be used as primary key. It must provide unique identifier for each test. So again, simplest way, auto number and press primary key. ID patient must be foreign key. So there is no dedicated foreign key data type among this list. It must be only compatible with related to its primary key, because foreign every time will be joined to another table foreigns. Primaries, sorry. So if passport table primary key have auto number type, for sure it will be kept. Uniquely never repeated numbers, compatible will be for sure number. We change to number and ensure that index properties must be yes, duplicates okay. So duplicates allowed, because in foreign key value could be repeated so many times as that particular patient will be tested. Okay. Then test date for sure will be again date time. And I recommend still apply formatting like short date. Then hemoglobin erythrocyte, okay, I decided it will be number and even integer value, or you can use floating point like decimal also, no matter. Okay, then save it again. Test results. So I have to table. Close it again, review. As you can see, no any data. In design, I can back if I need. Next step is establish relationship, create relationship between tables. We must provide this information about how data is related. So obvious from description, obvious that each one patient could be tested multiple times. So you must have ability to, for single patient, register or not anyone for newborn, or maybe few examination for youngsters, and maybe even dozens for adult or elderly persons. So it's covered. The relationship should be obvious, one to many. For one patient, we must be able to register, multiply detailed records, or master detail relationship also could be used sometimes as term, whereas master it's passport table, detail it's test result. Okay, how to create relationship in Microsoft Access, shown on page 18, and this particular example given at top of page 20. At top of page 20, so we will implement this by using relationship dialog box. This one structure. Okay, back in Designer. Fish database tools. For sure, you must have closed all table. Open relationship window. So there are for me given list of tables. I select both and add them into relationship window. Later, if you will extend the database with extra tables, again press show table, and you can, if you will have third table here, you can select this one and add into design. Then for us given list of fields, and only fields that have index properties, no duplicates, marked as primary key. Attention, Access, do not check is it have you applied auto number data type or not, because Access support complex and advanced primary key, which could be based not only on auto number fields. So you must be strongly ensure where do you have key fields and how they work. Moreover, as you can see, no any signs of foreign key. You must now, according to your design, where is your foreign key? And then to implement design, we need just drag fields according to relationships. Primary to master, or primary to foreign, or foreign to primary, no matter. Click, hold and drag. And release button. In edit relationship dialog, for you will be shown which fields being used as relationship to, and current relationship to one to many. I recommend also enforce referential integrity. Cascade update, cascade delete means if you remove, delete record from master table, all associated detailed or associated, if you delete patient, all his examination will be deleted too. And when you same way update primary key value, all, it's actually impossible and should never happen, must never happen, but if it's happened in some case, all related instances of foreign key must be updated too. So then create. Here is we have example how correct relationship look like. Save change, and you will get. So as you can see, no asking about name and so on. So only after you have created the relationship, you have database. Before it does not exist. Also, again, important notice, if you forget something and you need update table structure, especially key fields, you must delete relationship and then update table and then recreate relationship again. So example, how to delete relationship. Delete it, save change. Then I can back in designer change something in key fields, as I explained previously. Then create relationship again, same way. All that steps must be done before you start working with data. Like in this case, when we have empty structure. When you will have data, it will be much more difficult and sometimes even impossible to update table structures. Okay. Now now we have working database and we need to fill some data here. For this, required to create user interface. So why Microsoft Access is good for educational case, because it's allowed not only create database structure, but also it's allowed to create user interface. So we can have like full application software. For this case, we will create things called form. There is two types of forms, simple and composite. And according to task, you will like actually form its visual representation dialog box typically which represent data, which provide user interface to review and input data. So actually, it's user application. In this task, you need to create two forms. Simple composite form to fill information about patient examination, and in addition you can create simple to work with patient. Simple form could be created very easy, but simple form must be created only from raster table, only for table which does not have foreign key. If you have table with foreign key, the only way to fill data is here. It's composite form like this one, when we have combined both patient data as well as his examination. So first of all, I will create simple form. Quick way, it's just select table in object selector at left side and press form. If you have properly created relationship in the database, Access pick up this and automatically create composite form, modern Access. Okay, and we have composite form, but pay attention at the bottom side, no foreign key displayed here. Also, checklist of available representation of form. We have form view, like tool for input data. We have layout, in which we can, for example, adjust form size or position of fields or so on. Like there, I can adjust it. And we have designer, when we can manage in details form object. It's like for advanced users only. Okay, switching to form view. So I have like fast representation of my form. I will save it under passport 1. Close. And I will show another way how to use form wizard. Again, I select master table and use form wizard. In this wizard, I have control over which field I can add it to my form. So I can add one by one, remove some, or add all, remove all. Again, this time I will add all fields. Practically, key fields very often hidden and not displayed for users. Okay, I switch to second table in this first step and will add also all fields. So my aim is to show for you how key fields works. So this reason, automatically created form, not very fine for me. Next. Then representation by passport or test results, by master fields only. If you have master detail relationship, one-to-many relationship, so second approach absolutely incorrect, only this way. How it will be linked? Okay, with modern user interface, form, subform, it's best way. Then you can change representation for subforms, okay, and provide name. So this way I will use passport2 as main name. This time, as you can see, subform displayed explicitly. In previous example, subform used but not displayed as separate object. This time we have two objects, major form and subform. So now it's automatically starting to layout view, in form view, sorry. If I want adjust some layout, I can try to, for example, make my form better look if I want. Something like this one. Okay. Okay. And I will save change and back to view. So when I have form, I'm ready now to input my data. And I will create several patients. One moment, back to layout view. I have two large objects there. just made it a little bit smaller. Save change and back to form view. Okay, now it's working. Looks better for me. I just start typing. As you can see, only once I type anything for patient, he has been assigned primary key value. And immediately same value duplicating to foreign key. And okay, I can provide like examination results, even in the past, no problem, with some fiction. Same way I can provide more results. If I will be review and so on. As you can see, we have two group of controls with managing records. For subform, allow us move inside subform. And alternate control allow for us to create patients. So I move into next record, or I can create blank record, result will be the same. Okay, new one. And same way I can provide examination result. And even another, something like this one. Okay, enough. Same way you can continue, and you can use the alternate control to move through your records. Now, if I will check tables, you can see that both patient record available and the passport table, and thankfully to relationship, we have related patient examination result. But if you will check test result in the sheet model, you will see that all 4 records collected within single one table and only could be different by foreign key value. Here, each one is unique, but assigned to 2 different patients. Okay, and to finalize this part, short example. What if you need print some kind of information from database? So this time, report is a fine way, and I recommend use report wizard, which allow for you have control over what you want to do. For example, if I want to create something every time, use report wizard. I want to use like just for the label to entitle paper version of my patient record for case of paper backups. No problem. Report wizard. I will use only like passport table, and I will create ID patient, first name, last name, address, phone number, even okay, all fields. So then I can arrange it, or I can group it according to criteria that I want, for example, by sorting by last name to make my search much more easy. And then, if necessary, I want to use some extra ordering details, like, for example, after last name, I can sort by first name or address or so, if necessary. Okay, and if I will finish, I will have something like this one. So I can separate it and use it. Another kind of report, save it. If I want to get patient examination detail worksheet, so same way I will create with wizard. This time I will need, for example, okay, the patient first last name. I think I now need more information, and maybe best I will add. And same way I will add the necessary results from test result table, this time without key fields, only. erythrocyte. So for sure, organization by passport, by master table, and so made any groups. Actually not necessary. If you want, you can add the kind of groups. For example, it will be obviously to have by test date, separate each one examination. And then you can make some, if necessary, summary options if you want. If you need, if it makes sense. Okay. So we look like this one. So as you can see, field required adjustment because not proper displayed test date. If you want, okay, it's possible to use same way back into like layout view, and we can increase size of field, and then save change back to view, and we have everything displayed properly. For sure, we can separate and display each one patient on different page, but it's advanced case and you can try on your own. Thank you for your attention.